Hi there, Tom Mary with Workman's Dashboard here. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over the job status field and how that is such a critical piece of the software platform that we've built because it tends to drive the whole workflow from beginning to end. One of the basic notions that we have in developing this product is that in the world of specialty contracting, whether you're a painter or a roofer or a concrete contractor, the workflow from initial phone call to the very beginning of your process to collecting payment at the very end of the process is more or less the same for all of us that live in these sorts of specialty industries. So the status field that we've come up with is very critical as far as understanding how the software works and really the power in the pipeline management or the workflow, if you will, that we've developed. So let me take just a moment here to explain each of the statuses and what they do throughout the sequence. Just at the big picture level, we have two statuses, the request and outstanding status, that relate to the sales and estimating part of the funnel. The next three, contracted, proceed, and scheduled, deal with the project management and the scheduling phase of a project. The next three, completed, invoicing, and paid, those are part of the accounting and the billing and the collection phase of the sequence. And we have another one that doesn't really sit into any of those top level categories. It's the rejected status. If rejected is kind of the end of the line. If we prepare a quote for someone and it's just not accepted, or if it's outrightly rejected somewhere in the sequence, we need a place to put those jobs to essentially clear it out of our workflow. It's not gone forever. We're not deleting it if it goes to rejected, but we're basically just taking it off of anybody's dashboard if it goes there. So going back to the top, the sequence starts with a request status. So that is essentially we have a bid request that somebody at our company has to fulfill. So the customer is waiting for us to do something. Once we submit a quote to the customer, it's then an outstanding bid. So we've fulfilled the request, but we haven't sold the job yet. So the customer has the bid in hand, but it hasn't progressed anywhere further down the sequence than outstanding. Once we have a contract, we can move it next to contracted, or sometimes it might bypass contracted. What contracted means is that we have a contract in hand, we're going to do the work, but for some reason we're not ready to release it to whoever our project manager is to actually schedule that. There could be a number of things that might contribute to that, either on our end or on the customer's end. In our asphalt contracting business, we typically ask for 50% down upfront, down payment. So we will often have a lot of jobs in contracted. We're just waiting for the customer to send us a 50% down payment. There could be things that we are obligated to the customer. So for example, they might be asking and waiting for additional insured documents for our insurance company, or any number of things, paperwork, clerical things that we know that we're going to do the work at some point, but we just aren't quite ready to schedule dates on the calendar. The proceed status is just one step further along than that. We basically have everything situated such that we are ready to put dates on the calendar. So we kind of stole that word from the public work arena. You may be familiar with the term notice to proceed that a lot of government agencies use. So that's basically saying, go ahead, project manager, we have everything ready. The customer's waiting for us to get dates. Once we have dates, we would move the job to scheduled before and then during the actual completion of the work. Pretty self-explanatory on that one. Completed means that the work is done. So once the project manager no longer wants to see this particular job on their dashboard, they would move it to completed. So the next three, including completed, so completed, invoicing, and paid, relate to accounting functions. So once it's moved to completed, it's no longer going to appear on the project manager's dashboard. Completed jobs are essentially the list of to-dos that the accountant needs to fulfill. So The project manager has indicated that a job's done, and that's kind of the to-do list for the accountant. They need to send invoices out for all of their completed jobs. Once the invoice has been created and either emailed or mailed to the customer, we would move it to an invoicing status. So we've completed the job, we've sent the bill, we just haven't been paid yet. And you guessed it, the next status, paid, means that we've finally been paid in full. So that's kind of a quick overview of each of the statuses and the function that they play. Now let me also briefly just show you how that drives the workflow in the system. So I'm going to navigate over here. This is an estimator dashboard for Jason at our company. So as I mentioned before, things that are on request or outstanding relate to the sales estimating function. So we want to show users things that are relevant to them. And so companies that have kind of parsed apart the different roles between estimating and production and accounting want to be able to split these tasks apart. Now somebody may have multiple roles, so somebody could be an estimator and a project manager, or they could be a project manager and an accountant. But this allows kind of a separation of duties if you do want to build that into your workflow. So typically, people like to batch their activities. Even if they are wearing multiple hats, they could come here and see, what are the bid requests that I need to send out. And so you can query down your dashboard, and we can find things that are just on request status for Jason. The next dashboard is the project manager dashboard. So this is Mark's dashboard, and he's only seeing things that are contracted, proceed, and scheduled. And actually right at the moment he has nothing scheduled, but you can see this is kind of his list of things to do related to project management. And then we have the completed status, we have the accounting dashboard, which includes the completed and invoicing status. So our accountant here looks like he has 10 or more jobs that need to be billed. So that is a very quick overview of the status within Workman's dashboard and how critical it is to guiding the workflow from beginning to end. We will touch on more detail and depth of these concepts in some other tutorials coming up, but that's just a brief overview. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or if you have any questions or comments, I should say, leave them below and we'll try to get a response to you. We'll see you next time.